Ready? Dirk? Okay. Good evening. Welcome to the City of Bloomfield Hills City Commission meeting for Tuesday, August 9th, 2022. First item on our agenda is always please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Second item on the agenda is the consent agenda. Does anybody have any questions, corrections? We did receive a revised correction that was submitted earlier, so that's the one we're looking at, is the revised one. Any other questions? The consent agenda? Okay, I need a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda with the one correction in the minutes.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Passed. Next item on the agenda is the recognition of citizens in the audience. These are for individual comments. They're limited to 3 minutes per person, and it's for all items that are not on the agenda this evening. Yes, please stand and give us your name and address, please.
Good evening, I'm Eleanor Williams, and I've lived 10 years in Stratford Place condominium right off of Woodward. Prior to that, 30 years at Lazar Lone Pine. Anyway, a few years ago, I noticed a collection of panhandlers in the Costco parking lot. And after seeing them several times, I engaged the man. It's a man, a woman, and a child. And I said, you know, right now it's very easy to get a job. Costco and hiring, and this one and that one, and Kroger, with benefits. He just laughed. And I realized, of course, they make much more panhandling than they do actually working. Much to my chagrin, when I got back from Florida, here's the same group right on Lone Pine and Woodward. And the woman was going in between cars. Go to this car and that car, and thank you very much, and jump back at the curb, and then make eye contact with, when the lights change, make eye contact with a fresh group of people, and see what they can get there. And then another one appeared right on Woodward at the light, heading north towards Long Lake. And I realized that the Supreme Court, a few years back, let it be known that it's okay, that's speech. Well, it may be speech, but jumping between cars and endangering us all isn't. And I don't know why this is tolerated. Thank you.
Dave, do you want to?
Would you like me to comment on it, Mayor?
Yes, please.
Thank you for the comments. We agree, and we are being very thoughtful in how we're trying to manage this situation, if we can manage it so much at all. But one of the things that we are concerned about is people walking out, obstructing traffic, walking between cars. And so we are doing our best with our officers to recognize those things that do occur and do what we can within the law in a careful and thoughtful manner. And we have, I believe, issued a ticket or two. And I even believe one of those tickets or two have been paid for, but we're also working with our prosecuting attorney to make sure that we're doing the right thing for the city and for the residents and for these folks that are asking for money, asking for assistance. And so we recognize that it could be a problem for not only those folks that are standing out there that get hit by a car, but also for people that are driving through our city that are put into a precarious position. And we don't want anybody to suffer any negative benefit, any negative effects from it. So all I can say is that we're aware of it. We're watching it, and we're trying to do everything in a thoughtful and appropriate manner by what we can do from a legal perspective and a safety perspective.
Thank you.
Mayor, can I, Dirk, because just to expand upon anything, because my understanding is they can operate in the right of way, but they can't accost people or move up to people. Is that correct?
Right. It's hard to believe, but the courts have ruled that there is a constitutionally protected right to bag or panhandle and that it falls under the specter of free speech, but it's out there, and that's what the court said. So what you can, so you still can regulate to some extent in terms of, physically touching people, blocking entrances, whether it's a driveway or entrances to a store, getting into traffic, impeding traffic, I think is what you could write a ticket for that kind of a thing. But in terms of simply prohibiting it, you can't. So, but we are looking into it with a little bit more detail to make sure that we are doing everything we can do. But that's a general overview of what the state of the law is.
Do they have to remain in the right of way?
Do they have?
I mean, they're within the, they have to, they can't be all over the property, they have to, there's a certain feet
Well,
from the
certainly
road.
if they're on somebody's private property, that private property owner could have them removed.
Okay,
But if they're on the grass, abutting a road, which is in the right of way there, that's considered a public space, so they're permitted to be there. What they can't do is they can't be in the road, they can't be impeding traffic, they can't be blocking traffic, anything like that. So they really should not be walking in between cars. It's a path.
okay.
Mayor, may I ask, has anyone talked to Birmingham? I know they've had a problem long before we have with this.
Well, I mean, I haven't. I don't know if you have.
I have spoke with Chief Clements about it.
Yeah.
And we're doing the same things very similar to how Birmingham has handled it.
And your hands are tied, you can't really.
There's some things that we have some control over, and we have issued some citations on. There was some court action that took place on August 3rd, but it's limited.
Okay,
Thank you for asking.
thank you. Okay, do we have any other comments? Yes, please.
Hi, I'm Kate Elton from Kingsley Manor Court, and of course talking about woodward noise, you knew that. When the Operation Decrescendo was announced back in June, we were so excited about it and very, very hopeful that it would have an effect. And we found that in the first 2 weeks, the noise level really was diminished. We did a quick informal survey of the condo association presidents, and the majority said that the noise level was indeed better than it had been before the operation started. The last few weeks, though, have been just awful. I'm speaking specifically about the weekends. 10 o'clock, Friday night, Saturday night, 10 o'clock till like 1 in the morning, terrible noise on Woodward. And I don't mean to diminish in any way what the officers are trying to do. I know the Department of Public Safety has bent over backwards to accommodate us and have patrols out there. We don't go out and count patrol cars. This is really a subjective measure on our part. You're lying in bed and 6 times in a half hour, you're awake again. So that's how we're measuring it. We really think that you need to have more cars out there. I think that people who are making the noise have figured out pretty fast that there aren't enough patrol cars, and they're, as far as we're concerned, the people living within the noise zone, we're kind of back to where we started. And as you know, it's not a Dream Cruise problem. That's one day, one weekend. It's the 6 months of weekends that are really our concern. On Dream Cruise weekend, we expect noise. It's going to happen, but it's all the rest of the time, and it's half the year. We pray for rain. So we urge you, if there are any resources that you can give to the Department of Public Safety, and they did not send me. I'm sure there's money somewhere to pay for
It's not a
overtime
money
or
issue.
something.
I guess David could address it. It's not a money, it has nothing to do with financial issues. It was,
Personnel shortage?
Well,
No.
well, you do say something interesting. It's between 10 and 1. So what I recommend is, I know, see, I read the reports every single day with the Public Safety Department, and I know that the command staff and the officers are, monitoring it. But what we can do is just make sure that between those times, maybe they're not monitoring as much during those times. I know in the evening that they're monitoring it, but maybe during that kind of shift change time, like the midnight to 1, that there could be some more efforts in that regard, so we can certainly do that.
If you can, I mean, I'm not saying it doesn't
Right.
start earlier, but that's
Right.
when they really put the pedal to the metal.
I mean, by reading these reports, I've been, I've been encouraged that they are not writing as many tickets and they're not seeing as much action, but at the same time, I know there's a lieutenant sitting in the back too, so these two lieutenants, I'm sure, will pay more attention between those hours that you stated.
If you're able to, we would.
Yeah, we can. We absolutely
On
can.
behalf of, everybody,
Absolutely.
I thank you if you're able to do that.
Yes, we can, absolutely.
Great.
I think also too what Commissioner McClure was alluding to, we did write a letter to the state representatives. It was signed by Dave and myself. And actually, Mara Manugian asked to meet with me. It was about 3 weeks ago, or was it, I think? She got the letter. I know that she's not running again, but she was very interested in helping us out and to do something, and said that she would write a bill, with the noise, because a lot of this is that the police, we in the state of Michigan do not have, help me out, Lieutenant Gormley, you're going to say this more professional than I am, I'm sure, a noise decibel reading. So a lot of other states have this decibel reading. You can't have these. In Michigan, we don't have it. That really constrains the public safety, because they can't just sit in a car and go, oh, that car is loud, and pull it over. They have no grounds for it, right? So she was very interested in writing this bill and putting it in. And even though she is leaving, she was doing it in September at one of the meetings. It does have to go through all of the, everything, but it is going to be presented. She promised she would do it. It'll have to go through. She was talking about the whip and all these other. It could take a while, but she said that she would do that for us. So whether anything comes of it, I will tell you that she's listened and she was going to do something. Okay, so hopefully we'll have some. We'll see how that works out.
And I think after the election, it will be, because obviously there's going to be a lot of changes of positions, and because one of the letters was forwarded to the House majority person, but I think we have to wait until after the election, because people aren't doing as much right now.
Yeah, they're campaigning.
Yeah.
And some of them are term limited, some, like she's moving off, so
Yeah.
anyway.
But as I understand it, from her explanation, because I kind of brought it up, she was moving on, but once she introduces it, once it's introduced and it's put into, it continues to go on, it just doesn't die. So we'll see how it works.
We would love to help, but we're concerned that the time is very, very short and it's just going to die.
I think
Once
what
you put a bill in motion, it has to go through,
Yeah, it
whether
has
the
to go
person
through.
is around or not.
Right.
So if she puts it in motion, right?
Yes, that's
yeah.
what she said. Once it's in motion in September, that it has to. Now, who's going to? What might help is whoever does take her spot, which we won't know, but whoever does take her spot, might be good to have some residents do a follow-up letter to, so they can help push it through even faster. But once it's in motion, it stays there and it keeps going.
Well, it could stay in committee though and die.
It could stay in committee.
Die in committee or something.
What we want is the new person not to let
Yeah.
it stay there.
If it's not passed by the end of the year, when the legislature changes over, then what happens? Does it die?
Well, there's a whole process, but she's out this fall, after this fall anyway.
Mhm.
So I doubt anything will happen this fall. I mean, she could try to put it through, whether it goes, but I think my sense is if we're really going to take that route, that we'll have to get all the other communities to send similar letters, so that there's a lot of pressure on who's ever representing the majority of the communities up and down Woodward. So a legislative fix to the noise isn't like a 2-month thing. It could take a year.
I understand that.
Yeah.
Well, do let us know what we
Yeah.
can do to help.
Okay, we will. Thank you very much. We appreciate that. Okay. Next item on the agenda, the commission will consider a memo from City Manager Hendrickson regarding an additional supervisory position for the Department of Public Safety. Dave?
Thank you, Mayor. As we're preparing for this upcoming 12-hour shift, which is going to happen October 3rd, which is a little more than a month and a half away, the department will be running with 4 separate shifts, 2 day shifts and 2 afternoon shifts. And the way that the command structure is going to be structured is that there will be 2 supervisors for each shift. Except for the 2 night shifts, there will be 3 supervisors as it currently stands, with the third supervisor moving back and forth to cover when one of the other 2 supervisors would have a day off or vacation or that sort of thing. So really sort of planning this out, we thought about this process, and we even thought about it as we moved to the 12-hour shift. But because when we went through the process of arbitration, there's several things that the city prevailed on, but one of the things that the PSOs are now able to do is take vacation time the same time as the supervisors can. So it creates a real issue for that midnight shift, the night shift, to have a supervisor there on duty at all times, and it would create some overtime. Now, the big difference between, one of the main big differences between the 12-hour shift and the 24-hour shift is the current shift, the 24-hour shift, does not have a supervisor actively working between midnight and 7 a.m. in the morning. So this new 12-hour shift will always have somebody actively working, awake, here to address concerns like the residents just talked about. It's a real big improvement, but we believe from an operational standpoint that the extra sergeant would be helpful to run the department better with this 12-hour shift. It is an increased cost to the city and to the budget. It will reduce some overtime, but it certainly is not an exchange of the overtime it will reduce will not cover the full cost of that position. But so it's not a request to reduce any funds. It will be an increase to the budget, but we believe it's the right thing from an operational standpoint. Some of the things that it'll do is it's going to help ensure that that supervisor is always there in a night shift. And some of the things that we're concerned about is when the life happens stuff occurs. So certainly we're going through a transition right now. It's going to take several months to kind of get everybody trained up and have our staffing fully trained and operational. But if anything were to happen in the future where people have to take days off or maybe family issues or injuries, this would help in those cases. So even with this new arbitration award and the 24-hour shift, it still creates this new thing, this new phenomena that we're going to experience. If we even were to stay on a 24-hour shift, we'd have to probably do something about it, because the PSOs picking vacation with the supervisors even on a 24-hour shift is really problematic. So it's not something that I brought to the commission before, because when we went through the process of the 12-hour shift negotiations, we believed that we could do this with the 3 people. But now that one of the awards, the only award actually the PSOs I think received was that, and that's we believe from an operational standpoint, if we could have another sergeant, it would work better for the department. So it's just a request.
Does the increase, is that a going forward one, or is that just for the next couple of years to lieutenants and different things, in the future?
That would be if there was a promotion and then a new hire.
Right.
On an annual basis.
Okay.
So, I'm sorry, did you have another question?
No, I think it makes sense to me if it's something we should do, so I'd be in favor.
So, just so I understand, so when the difference between the first page you gave us and the second, right?
Yes.
Is the first page is where we stand with having a floating sergeant.
Yes,
Is that correct?
and I knew that you had talked about, hey, I want to know what's going on. So I really wanted, actually, these guys did a good job by putting this on paper so you could understand it
Yeah,
better. Yeah,
yeah.
so certainly that's what it shows. It shows each independent shift, and they're kind of designed to have 2 supervisors each shift. But the night shift would have the 3, and, we see it operationally as problematic, but
So the other shift we'd have, you'll have, so the proposed with the 25 members, so we go from 24 to 25.
yes,
And we have 2 sergeants on each shift, except for the day shifts would have a captain and a sergeant.
Yes.
correct? Okay. So can I just ask a clarifying question? If you have, so I understand if one of them are sick, the captain can take over the sergeant, or the sergeant can take over.
yes.
And the floating sergeant, he would float between nights? is
Between
right
the
now-
2 night shifts.
Yeah, between the 2 nights, is what he's doing right now, right?
Would be if we didn't,
If we didn't add the one,
October
he'd have
3rd
to,
started,
he
yes.
would be back and forth.
yes,
Okay, as needed. So there would be times when you could have 2 sergeants working at night if you did the floating, right?
you
One at a
could.
time though, right?
You could have 2, because even and another interesting thing about the 12-hour shift is, the difference between a 24-hour shift and a 12-hour shift is that there's gonna be more people working, more days of the year. So, in other words, there's more times that there's 6 people working, more times that there's 5 people working. On a 24-hour shift, really is only, even with the same amount of personnel, there's usually only about 4 people working. Just because of the way the vacations work and everything else. So, yes, there would be times when there's 2 supervisors working, but, the benefit to the residents and to the cities that you have more people working more days, more times.
And just to clarify, so do sergeants work with, patrol? So
Yes.
now we would have, because I know now, it took me forever to figure it out, but we have 2 on and then 2 off, right? That we have that, when we did the 24, right? So now we're gonna have 4 patrolling, is that right? Or no, not
Well,
really?
I mean, how we're gonna structure the shifts, I don't know if we'd have all these people driving around patrol cars all 12 hours,
That's what I
because they
was
have to
wondering.
have fire training. So that's actually, something that we're going through right now and planning right now, and I think what we're doing is with the command staff and the PSOs, trying to find the right balance, because hopefully, again, another benefit to this 12-hour shift is to have more training. So there were some deficiencies in some training areas. So there would be times when you'll have 2 or 3 officers on the road patrolling, maybe someone's on vacation, and you have somebody in the station training, or sometimes we can bring more people in to train. So there's gonna be some rules and some commonality between all shifts, because we want all shifts to run the same. But there has to be some, there has to be some nimbleness, or we have to be able to change things as needed.
That's what I thought. So I didn't think they'd spend 12 hours in a car all day. I mean, it's like.
No, I think most of the time it'd be 8. It would be eight,
Okay.
and then there's so much opportunity to figure it all out, that it's, in a way it's kind of exciting, but we haven't figured all that out yet, but we're getting there.
Okay. And then, one last question, just to clarify. So we have 4 lieutenants now, 2 are gonna be captains. So are 2 like acting lieutenants or acting, is that?
Yeah,
how
so
you're planning it?
they'll attrition out.
Right, that's what I thought. They'll
yeah,
attrition out, right?
yes.
And then you'll have just the sergeants.
Just sergeants. So this is a long-term plan.
Right,
The way the 24-hour shift ran was there's 4 lieutenants and 3 sergeants. It kind of made sense with the 24-hour shift, but in 12-hour shift, it doesn't really make sense. It's too top-heavy. So the lower rank should be more of them. But this was worked out with the command staff too, so it's part of the agreement.
okay. Do you have any questions? Mr. Fisher?
No questions.
Okay.
I'd like to mention one more thing. I don't know if it makes a difference or not, but when I did start here in 2013, there was 26 spots. I'd never filled 1, and I reduced 1. So we are actually, we'll be, still, if we promoted the 1 person, we'll be 1 less than when I started here in 2013. I know that doesn't make a difference, but I want the commission to know that it's not always about, it's about sometimes you have to spend some money for operations, and this is more about operations than saving money. And at the 24-hour shift, we made those changes because we believe we could, and to save money. So,
I don't think anybody's gonna complain about too many police officers, so,
okay.
okay.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, go ahead.
I move that due to, one, the PSO group's arbitration award giving them the opportunity to pick their vacation time off separately from the command group, and two, the city's need to ensure adequate first-line supervision and management of department operations after implementation of the 12-hour shifts in October of 2022, that we approve an additional sergeant position for the department at a cost of approximately $104,500.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second?
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you very much.
Got it? Okay. Next item on the agenda, the commission will consider a budget amendment for HVAC system replacement in the Public Safety Department. Our HVAC went kaput.
Yes, so there is a budget amendment before you, and it is due to the PC unit that is in the server room or the IT room. As you can imagine, it gets bad equipment in there, lets off a lot of heat, it needs to stay cool. So the fact that it failed on us, we had to do emergency purchase and purchase a new AC back. So the cost breakdown is in the memo, but altogether it's just under $20,000. So we're requesting a budget amendment from the fund balance of the general fund being moved into the capital improvement fund.
So are there 2 AC units there?
Right now, there's one. I think Gormley could explain it better, but there's one, I believe, at a 2.5 ton, is that right?
The current one is 3 tons.
Oh, it's 3 tons, and they're gonna move to 2 at 2.5, correct?
So it'll be 5, 2.
And it, right,
Total.
and they'll be on different sides of the room to help with the cooling system. It's a better way to keep it cool. And then it also offers redundancy. So if one does need repair or goes down, there's at least that other one that'll help keep the equipment cool.
This is smart. Yeah, maybe not as much work on the system too, because 15 years an AC unit should last.
Right.
Yeah, okay. Do we maintain those
Yes, yeah.
on a
Yes, we
regular
do.
basis?
Yes.
So we just didn't know this one was gonna go kaput?
We didn't expect it to go completely kaput on us. We do annual maintenance. There was actually maintenance on today, annual maintenance done on all the AC units, so.
Okay. All right, any other questions?
2 things. One, have we already replaced it?
No, it's been ordered. We have temporary cooling in
I was
there.
wondering how long it takes. Some of these things are taking a long time.
They believe they could get them within 2 weeks.
Oh, okay.
So
Oh,
it
that's
wasn't
good.
as long as I,
Okay,
Expect
not one of
that.
those 6 months,
Yes.
year ordering. No, obviously we need to do this. I mean, from a budget standpoint, last year we ended up, it looks like, I know it's not audited, but 400 plus in the positive. This year we had budgeted, but with these amendments like the new sergeant and this, now we'll be pretty flat. I mean, we're budgeting to 0, basically. So just so we as commissioners understand, I mean, we built up the general fund last year, but this year we're 1 month in and now we're back to 0. So, which is fine. I think these are things we need to do, but just so we all
No, good
understand,
point. It's a good
you know,
point.
that we had a pretty big surplus last year, but this year, with these amendments will be
It
no
does,
surplus.
yes. If looking at the budget right now, you're absolutely right.
Okay.
And of course, we're not through the audit, but we are through the expenditures that we're expecting and the revenue that we're expecting for fiscal '22. And we should be plus about 500,000, so
Okay.
a little bit more than we anticipated.
Okay.
So if that helps at all.
So I'll make a motion, Mayor.
I wanted to see if the other commissioners.
Oh, sorry.
Do you guys
I just
know?
had a question. Is there any other infrastructure that is old and aging and something we need to worry about replacing?
Well, we're doing pretty well. I mean, Jeff did a good job. He just got the whole $100,000 roof repaired, and we have some leaks, but he's getting those fixed too. But, and we have to repair the roof due to this new AC units. No, I think the building, both public safety and this side is in pretty good shape.
Great.
I don't know what else you think needs to be done. I think we're in really good shape, actually.
No, it's a good building. It's, you know, a little over 20 years old, so just like your house after 20 years, once in a while something creeps up and surprises you.
We did just have our electric meter blow off the wall over the weekend, which is a 440 volt meter.
Wow.
And so it's going to take an underground unit, and it's going to take a few different groups from DT to fix this thing, but it's all roped off back there. And luckily, we still have power. I don't know how we still have power, but the meter's hanging out over there, so don't touch it if you want.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so.
Thought I saw, was there some kind of, did we pay something on that? I saw some electrical, did we have a check or something that I saw?
Well,
Huh?
utilities probably.
Yeah, not for that specific.
Oh, for something else? Oh, okay, yeah. It was just seemed kind of high, whatever it was, so, okay. Well, utilities are high right now. That's kind of scary. Do we have it roped off and everybody knows not to touch it?
Yeah, we do. It's not a good situation, but we,
They're coming out at 9:30 tomorrow to start rectifying it.
yeah.
They don't know, do they know why?
It was something to do with the storm. It was either electrical strike or a water related issue that got into their meter.
Like a
It was
storm?
during the storm last Thursday.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Okay, scary. Okay, do I have we need a motion for the budget to approve the,
I'll make a motion to approve the budget amendment for, how much was the HVAC? $20,000 for the HVAC system replacement in the Public Safety Department building.
okay, do you have a second?
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Okay, motion passed. You get a new AC unit. But as Commissioner McClure just said, we used up all the checkbook. Okay. Next item on the agenda is the commission will hear city manager comments.
I want to say happy birthday to the city of Bloomfield Hills. It's our 90th birthday. So August 5th, 1932,
Really?
the city was created. So
90
it's our 90th birthday.
Wow.
So I don't know. We might put that on our website. We'll probably put that on our website. I also wanted to. That's good information. Some not so good information, and I talked with the mayor about it earlier. Is well, I think the medians and everything's looking really great. So, and we've kind of got this process down. DPW doing a great job. Everything's working really well. But we have these beautiful Austrian pines that are on the median, and they suffer from a disease called
Dysphoria blight.
yeah, or dysentroma or something. But yeah, dysphoria. So it's a needle disease, and you may notice that these beautiful pine trees, the needles are all turning. And so we talked to some landscape professionals, and to continue to treat these, there's no guarantee they're going to die anyway. I got an estimate for $10,000 to treat all these trees, 15 of the trees. So we had our arborist come out to take a look at them, and the arborist reports that they're a lost cause. So we have these beautiful trees on the median that we're going to have to eventually cut down and replace them. So I just wanted to let the commission know about that. But I just think we leave them as long as we can, and as they just get too
They've died
unsightly.
throughout,
Yeah.
if I may, they've died throughout the city. I have had them on my property, that were,
Yeah.
which has existed since the 1920s. And there really isn't anything too much. If they're small, you could spray them, but once they get tall and they get too far gone. So, yeah, I probably wouldn't even bother spraying them anymore, and just
Yeah, I don't want to throw any more
save
money
that
at
money,
them.
and we can plant other
Yeah.
trees.
Yeah.
When
So-
they get unsightly, I would just take them down and
That would be my plan. I just wanted to make sure the commission was fine with that plan. Okay.
Should we discuss maybe changing the tree planting program and putting the money towards replanting those? Cutting them down now?
I would vote for that.
I was going to ask about the tree planting program. Where do we stand on that with we put some money in this year's budget?
Yeah, it was about 50,000, or 50 or 70,000, something like that. The residents love it. They loved it last year. We certainly can do it again. I'm sure we'll be able to. I think we spent about $100,000 last year. We certainly can do it again, but that's up to the commission. As far as these Austrian pines, I was thinking about just leaving them as long as we can, because they are beautiful, and just the.
As long as they don't look brown,
As
I
long
would
as they
just leave them.
Yeah.
I would
Yeah.
until they start getting too brown, and then at that point we can
I just thought,
replace
yeah,
them.
and then cut them down
There aren't
and
that
replace
many
them.
of them.
15
There's-
of them, I guess.
Is that what it is?
That's
Yeah.
That's what his report back to me was 15. I didn't think there was that many either. So that's that. And the last thing I wanted to mention is there's been interest in, I know the mayor has talked to me about the Charing Cross pillars before. So those pillars are an MDOT property. But we believe we're not sure yet, but we've been getting inquiries from homeowners association. Matter of fact, one person who doesn't live there but lives close is interested in rejuvenating the lighting, or bringing back the historic lighting on those two pillars. Now, it would those lights wouldn't comply with any of our ordinances, probably, that sort of thing. So I wasn't sure. Mamie and I were talking about it. I thought we just mention it to the commission to see if you want to be involved, to talk about it with whatever group, or certainly I think they would probably have to pay for it, whatever homeowners association, but at the same time, I just want to make sure that it's okay. There's a lot of investigation to go on, but I just want to make sure you guys knew about it.
Thank you.
I know in the past, the city has paid for a few of the rock wall, or now this other wall repair, but I believe almost all the pillars in the city, like the ones at Woodbury or Chesterfield, that association group, which isn't even a legal association, some homeowners paid for that. I think Charing Cross years ago, that it's always come up in the past, and the associations had to do it. The city of Bloomfield Hills, we only have a few houses, right? And then it goes into the township.
I think it's maybe one home? Three. Okay, it's 3 homes. Yeah.
So it's 3 homes of ours, and then the rest is the township. But if they're homeowners association, some of those people want to get together to do it, I'd say go for it.
They
Yeah.
are a historical landmark. I follow on social media, Detroit historical thing, and they came up, and I sent it to Dave.
Yes.
Because they came up as a historical site on Woodward Avenue are those pillars. So I think there's a couple things that actually, not changing from them, but there are, I don't know if anybody's noticed, but O'Keefe, the wall on O'Keefe has fallen down as well. Now they took and put orange netting, so I take it that they're taking care of it. Is that correct? Okay.
Yeah, they do a really nice job with that property, that building owner, and he's going to put it back.
Okay, good. I figured they would. They do a nice job there. And then I saw you're starting to fix the wall on Lone Pine.
Yes.
In Martel. And then what came up was we actually had some residents at the Planning Commission meeting who brought up the stone wall there where the new periodontist office is going, that goes along Updike, that stone wall.
Dyke and Woodward.
Yeah, that's actually a historical wall, but it's been there since 1896.
Wow.
And the people that live across the street on Tiverton have been noticing that wall is decaying. It's starting to fall. Now, Dave has said that the people who own those buildings are responsible for maintaining it, the wall. I would guess because those people are out of state who own that, have no idea they own it and need to maintain it. So just ask Dave that we probably call them and let them know that it is a historical wall that the city wishes to maintain and keep,
What I was thinking about doing, I do know that it's on their property because I know it's out of the right of way. So just because of this whole periodontist office. But what I was thinking about doing is going over there with our code enforcement officer, just doing the survey of the walls, see where there's some things that need to be repaired, and then kind of get a game plan together and talk to the building owners and let's see if they can do some repairs. That usually works if we can do like
that's fine. Because I know Cranbrook spent the last 2 years right before COVID redoing their whole stone
Yeah.
walls, all of them. But on the Charing, going back to the Charing Cross one, I don't have any problem with them, fixing it, the homeowners association or whoever's gonna do it, and maintaining those. I mean,
Well, does the planning commission need to approve the design if they do anything?
Well, the city would, right, just to make sure they're following whatever rules.
So the pillars don't need any, I don't think they don't need any rehabilitation, but there's actually lights in there. I believe they have to bring power to it. And so somebody's have to pay for the power, it wouldn't be us. And so that's got to be done. But our concern, or our discussion, Amy and I, was, well, we have these lights, and do those lights fall within our ordinance? Because our ordinance has a lot of shielding on all the lights to make sure that there's no glare or anything else. So, I mean, I didn't know if anybody wanted to be involved in that sort of process. In other words, I would hate to tell a homeowners association, yeah, go ahead, put the lights the way they were, and you pay for it, but yet there wasn't a good.
Can they just put it by the city staff before?
Yeah, I'm comfortable with doing that as long as it's done in a historic way, but I want to make sure it's okay with you if I had the authority to do that.
Yeah, 'cause
Yeah, that's
Okay.
fine.
Well, shouldn't the planning commission look at that? Or is that not?
they're not changing the footprints or anything.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, they're just putting lights in. Were there
I think
lights
there was-
before?
Yeah, there's spots
So
for
there's
lights.
gotta be
there.
electrical there.
I think they have to redo
The
it.
gas.
Yeah, I think they have to redo it. Yeah, who knows? Maybe they're gas lights. Who knows? But I think they have to. Maybe it's whale oil. Well, I don't know, but yeah, we'll have to figure it out.
That's nice that they want to restore it. I'm very supportive of the fact
That
they
is
want
nice.
to.
If I run into a hiccup, or if we run into a hiccup, we'll just communicate with you guys.
Yeah, because I think that homeowners association years ago actually restored those. It was before mine.
They really look good. They look nice.
Yeah,
Because
they're
they were
really
done,
good.
I think, Amy, weren't they done like 15, 20 years ago?
I believe so.
Yeah.
But there hasn't been any maintenance as far as the landscape around there, so they were talking about the lighting and the cleanup of the area around the
Okay.
Oh, so they're gonna clean up the whole area and everything too.
That's my first impression from that initial conversation.
Oh, that's nice. That'll be a nice added,
That's great.
yeah, that's really great. I think it's nice. We need to probably look at more of those. I'm just afraid of more walls tumbling in the city. In someone saying, I don't want to replace it, and especially like, it was really interesting to learn about this, like 1896. Like, oh, you're serious? Thing's over 100 years old. So, okay, that's good to know.
That's all I have, Mayor.
Okay. Okay, next item on the thing, the commission will consider other business. Does anybody else have anything else to?
Yeah, what, with the, when are you going to present for the new chief, the director, what company we're going to?
So I have 2 bids and 2 programs that I was only able to find 2. So GovHR so far and Michigan Municipal League. And I'm going to send those to the mayor and the subcommittee to look at those. And then
What subcommittee?
We have a subcommittee that's doing this because we've always had a.
But we haven't approved a subcommittee? I mean, normally it's from a process standpoint.
At the last meeting, Amy, don't through in the minutes, I talked about a subcommittee.
I think there was discussion about having a subcommittee, I don't know.
We didn't approve or what their mission or their goal was. I guess I just would like that clarified.
Oh, it's just the same as any leading, like when we looked for a city supervisor, we had a subcommittee,
Right.
just because it was a chief of police, so it's just to help Dave through the process, and, it's not to pick the person, it's ultimately the commission's to pick the person, so it's just helping Dave through the process, that's all.
No, that's fine. I mean, I've been on them before, so, so does the subcommittee, do you present I mean, I think in the past, the commission approved the search committee, the companies, and then I guess I just, you
I
can
mean,
recommend
that's-
how you want to do it, but then the search committee, so the firm that was hired would get whatever, dozens and dozens of names, would narrow it down to a certain number, show it to the search committee, and then the search committee might approve 2 or 3 to interview, and then they would present one or two to the commission, full commission to interview. Is that what you're
Mhm,
thinking of?
mhm.
When you say search committee, do you mean the subcommittee?
No, search committee being the person that Dave, I think you mean search committee, meaning the, like the.
I'd sub-
Michigan-
subcommittee, right?
Yeah.
That would be the
Is that what
subcommittee
you
or no?
mean?
Is this the search committee, subcommittee? I
No,
guess.
no, it's a subcommittee, it's not a search.
Okay.
So when I look at, when I hear you say search, it's the people like the Michigan Municipal MML League
Right.
that is searching for it for us, right?
Right, the firm who does the search, they
Right.
do the basic, send out all the
Yeah.
whatever, based upon the parameters that David, whoever gives them. And then the committee, the subcommittee, typically had reviewed that with the firm, and the firm may narrowed it down maybe to X number, from dozens, maybe 6 to look at more seriously, and then the subcommittee would interview, 2 or 3, and then present to the city commission, 1 or 2 with a recommendation perhaps. I mean, is that what you're thinking of?
Mhm. That's, I mean, Alice is on the
Seems like
subcommittee.
it was, yes.
Yeah.
Who is on the subcommittee? Who are you
Um,
looking at appointing?
Will Hostler, Alice, because she's going to be mayor, and
Right.
he'll go into it. Will Hostler, because he knows the city, and then actually Frank McDonald, who's on the planning commission.
Okay, have you talked to them?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's fine. It's just from a process standpoint, I think we normally have approved the subcommittees.
No, I'm sorry, when we went out for the search, and then when we talked about sub, I was.
Okay.
So,
All right. No, that's fine. It just was a process.
So what I have so far is I have Michigan Municipal League, MML, and GovHR. I've reached out to a couple other companies. I haven't got anything back yet, but so essentially what they do is they have a list of things they can do, and I personally just kind of picked in the middle, I think, what is appropriate.
Right.
Background check, advertising, doing some interviews, reviewing things, putting packages together so they can pool or get a pool of candidates to bring to the commission or subcommittee, however you guys want to do it. And so I have the cost of that, and I have the time. I believe MML can't start it till late fall, but GovHR can start it soon and be done. They both take about 4 months to do, 3 to 4 months to do, and the GovHR can do it soon. So I guess I'll just ship that out, and you guys let me know. And I don't know if you want
Who have we used in the past, GovHR or the other one?
to MML.
That's what I
MMLs
thought.
we
And
use.
everyone was so pleased with him, that's too bad that they can't do it right away.
Yeah. So however you want me to do it, Mayor, however you want me to do it.
Yeah, I mean,
We have other cities that have used,
Would you like me to bring it back in September and then you can vote on it? Which
Yeah.
one?
Mhm.
Would that work? Okay. In the meantime, would you like me to send it out to everybody so they can see it?
Yeah, I think
Yes.
so.
It's fine. Mhm.
That's what I'll do. And in the meantime, I might find another firm that could do it.
Is there a Michigan Association of Police, Chief of Police?
Yeah, they don't do it. The International Association of Chiefs of Police has a package that they do it. I know we talked about EMCO, just a testing agency. They don't do that. So, yeah, I've kind of looked around, and then I looked at some other companies outside the state or more nationwide companies, and really, really expensive, 2 to 3 times what MML or GovHR does. And so I didn't really consider that unless you want me to, but I didn't seem as personal, or as no Michigan as well these other 2 companies did, and so.
does that mean they would just be hiring within Michigan, or?
Oh, they can advertise with outside Michigan, yeah. The problem is for that position, there's a lot of things in Michigan that you have to
It's
have.
specific, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't
right.
think we need to go beyond.
Yeah, you're right.
So a city manager, you can get someone from California, but that position, there's a lot of
Right.
certifications, Michigan certifications they need.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, anybody else have any other business? Okay, with that, I have a motion to adjourn.
Move to
Second.
adjourn.
Okay, seconded. All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.